What is up, you guys? Conio1553 here, and today what I am doing, or what are we gonna do, is some Minecraft redstone, but not some basic redstone where you just try to make like a door or something like that. Something more real life circuitry, just like a computer. But in this case, it's going to be making a piece of a computer. It's an adder. You have that in calculators. You can have that in a CPU, or more precisely in the ALU of a CPU. But yeah, I'm going to make one. It's going to be a binary adder. If you guys don't know binary, I will upload a video later this week explaining what is binary. It's fairly simple to understand, but in this video I'm going to show you guys some very basic stuff about redstone so that you guys can understand what I'm about to do, and you'll get the picture of what's going on. And if you guys really like to learn about this, it's real life circuitry but in Minecraft, and it's identical to how it works. So first things off, I'm going to show you guys the most basic thing ever. I'm sure if you guys are good with redstone, you probably already know what this is. It's an inverter. Super simple to do. You just put a torch. A torch is always on by default, and whenever you give it power, it'll do the opposite. It'll turn off. So it's also known as a NOT gate, but I just call it an inverter because it inverts the signal. It's the most basic thing ever to build, and the other circuits I'm about to show are only going to use inverters, just like in real life. In real life, inverters do exist, and most circuitry have inverters to make logic circuits that'll do some calculations, but they do calculations with the logic of how it should work. It makes sense how it should work, so it makes sense the answer that it gives depending on what the inputs are, and etc, etc. But anyways, that's an inverter. The next thing I would like to show you guys is I'll show you guys the OR gates, and like it says in its name, OR means one or the other, right? So it's the same thing. This is a big OR gate though. There are different ways of making it. It's just this one is the most simple one to understand. So you always have two inputs, or three or four, but it's a minimum two. If you only have one input, it would just be a repeater. But now since you got two inputs, make them go into two inverters or two NOT gates, so that the signal from the output doesn't flow back into the inputs, so that it only goes one way. And an OR gate, you can have one or the other input to get an output, doesn't matter which one. And if they're both off, that's the only time you'll have no output, so no signal. If either one of them is on, or both, you get an output. That's an OR gate. It's very, very, very simple design though. There are different ways of making them. You can, if you really want to, just have your two inputs like that. Then you just make your output along this line, I guess. And that's also an OR gate, because you got two inputs and you got one output. The only thing about this one is that if my output is powered, it'll flow back into the inputs, and it could affect something back there. So the way to fix that is very simple. You just put a repeater, and a repeater goes one way, so it doesn't flow back. Of course, this one is way faster than this one. This one is 2 ticks. So this torch is 1 tick. This is also another tick, so that's 2. And the repeater right here, it's only 1. So this one is faster than this one by 1 tick. But the difference between this one is that this one you can actually kind of control it using AND gates, which is the next thing I'm about to show you guys. AND gates exist in real life in a various number of forms. For example, an AND gate can be in a car to prevent the driver to change the gears from, let's say, park to drive if he didn't turn on the car first. So I'll explain more to you guys what I mean. This is an AND gate, the very most basic AND gate that I know. You can make it a little bit smaller by moving this torch and this block right here. So your two inputs are always going to be on the first torches, and your output is right here. That third torch, I mean. So what it does is that for this torch to turn on, to have an output, you need the first two torches to be off at the same time. If they're not off at the same time, then the output will never be on. So to take back my example from before, let's say you start your car, then you hit the brake, then you'll be allowed to, this will turn on, which will allow you to change gears in your cars from park to drive. That's actually something that is in my car. I need to turn it on first, and I need to also hit the brake. If my foot is, if the car is on and my foot is not on the brake, I literally just can't switch gears. It won't work. My transmission is locked. So I have to, I just have to put my feet on the brake. Don't have to put it a lot on the brake, just enough so that it's on the brake, and then it will let me switch gears. So this is a very, very, very important piece. Of course, you can make an AND gate. This one has two inputs, but you can have one with multiple inputs. You can make them as big as you'd like. So for example, this would be a third input that I put on right now. So if I turn on my two inputs, I still don't have an output until my third input is off, and now, well, it's being powered, which turns it off. Then I have an output. Pretty neat, pretty useful. You guys will see how useful this is, because this basically you need conditions to, like, this can detect conditions, and if these conditions are true, then it'll send out an output. So it's probably my favorite gate so far. Another gate that is pretty useful, it's the XOR gate. So it's just like the OR gate, but the OR gate, what you got, I'll show you guys the truth table. A truth table is a table that shows you, depending on what inputs you would have for a certain gate, it shows you exactly what the output would be. So let's say I'm going to actually take out a sign to write down some stuff. Let's say this is my input. I'll just start writing it. Input. Thank you. So let's say this is my inputs. My inputs are going to be right here. And over here I'm going to have my output. I'll just put it farther away so that you guys don't get confused. Output. There we go. So let's say my first input is on, or actually no, I'm going to keep it like that. My first two inputs are off. Then this is for the OR gate. Okay? For the OR gate, as you guys saw, if both of my inputs are off, then my output is off. If one of my inputs is on, doesn't matter which, let's say the first one, the one on the left, then my output is on. if my left input is off, but my right input is on, then my output is also on. And if both of my inputs are on, then my output is also on. That's for the OR gate. So I'll just write down OR. There we go. That did not work. Sorry about that. This is for an OR gate. But the difference between the OR and the XOR is very useful, actually. So I'll just write XOR. You guys will understand right away. It's just like the OR gate. If both of my inputs are off, then my output is off. If one of my inputs are on, doesn't matter which one, just one of them, then my output is on. And if both of my inputs are on, this is where the difference is. My output is off. Many people in Minecraft will have an issue when they make a door. Doesn't matter what type of door. I'll just take a regular door if I can find them. There we go. Some people will make a door and have like a wall or something, you know, to their house. Something along those lines. And they'll hook up a lever right here and hook up a lever there. And this is what they'll do. The door is over here, so they have to send power there. And they need to get the power from their levers like this. So they'll just hook it up like this. Right now, this is an OR gate. Both are off, so the door stays closed. If one of them is on, the door will open. And if both of them are on, well, the door stays open. So let's say, for instance, I'm right out here. I open the door, go in, and then I want to close it with this lever, but I can't do that because I need to close it with this one rather than this one. So basically, it's useless to have two levers on both sides because you always need to turn off the first one that you use to open the door to actually close the door. So that's not useful. But if you would have an XOR gate, and let's say both levers were on, if I turned on this one, the door would close. And then if I would like to get out later, I just flip this and the door would open. And I flip this one and the door would close. So the XOR is actually the fix to this problem that many people have, except that most people don't understand that this would be a fix, and they don't understand how it would be a fix. So if you guys ever wondered how you could fix that, then this is the solution. And I'll show you guys how to build an XOR gate. So to make an XOR gate, it's very easy actually. Basically what you need is, well, you just need an OR gate. So you have your two inputs and you connect them together. This is an OR gate. Now, either one of them is on, my output has to be on. But then, if both are on, I want my output to be off. So to do that, it's a AND condition because it's this one has to be on and this one. So you can switch it to making it go straight into an AND gate. And this torch will override the output and turn off the output if ever it's on. So you make your output an inverter and you just connect it to that. So now we have the part that if both are on, it's going to be off. And if both are off, well, right now it's on. And that can't be right, so you need a way to if both are off to have this off. So a quick and easy fix for that, you still need to have your AND gate going on. So you just move that, and over here you can have your two torches. Those are your inverted levers, and you just connect it to the wire. So now this is not too bad, so let's test it out. It doesn't work, and that would be because, right, you need, well, this is inverted, but you want to invert it again. So this inverter, you're gonna put it on each of these guys, and the redstone right here is twisted, so I'm gonna put these guys farther ahead so that my redstone doesn't twist like that. Connect them to the output, and now this is just like before. I have an on, both are on. Now they're off, because when they're both on, my inverters are both off, but it activates my AND gate, which overrides my output, which makes it off. So this is an OR gate. It's a perfect OR gate. One is on, this is on, doesn't matter which one, and both on, it turns it off. This is a XOR gate. The X means exclusive. It's exclusive to the OR. It's only one or the other. It's not both. It has to be only one or the other. That's why it's exclusive to it. So now let's say I would really have a door that needed this circuitry, and I would have my levers out there. It would be perfect. Just put a lever here, connect it to the output right in there, remove this guy. The next one, lever right here, so take the input, and take off this one. And now I have a perfectly working door. I open this, and then I can flip it here, it'll close. Want to go back out, I got it. If I'm going in, and then one of my friends is out here, he can still open the door, and goes back in, closes back up. This is a very good design. Basically, this is exactly how it should work. So you got your AND gate that's on the top with this torch, and you got your inverter over here, and you need this inverter because on the second half of the inverter you need the AND gate to override it if ever both are on. That's why you need an inverter, and you can't just have a normal wire going on from this torch to here. That's the only reason. And this trick that the AND gate is like overriding these two torches when it's on, this trick is very useful. It's one of the best properties to any gates that exist. So yeah, XOR gate, difference between the OR and the XOR, and how it can be useful for normal uses in Minecraft instead of just computers. There are other designs. This is a big one, and this is not the most efficient one. The smallest one that I really know that is actually useful is not at all my design. It's a design that I found on YouTube. I'm not sure who made this, but this guy is a complete genius. So the way he made it a 2-tick XOR gate. This XOR gate is also 2-tick, but this one, he kept it 2 ticks and made it way more higher than this, but he made it 2 blocks wide instead of like 3 blocks wide, which is awesome. So your inputs are right here, right on top of each other. You invert them at first, just like over here, and then you invert them again, and you connect both of them together to get the OR part. This one or this one, my output is on. And then what you can do is you need the AND part. So the AND, you take it out from these inputs just by putting the torch on the side. You can put a block here, not there, there actually. Redstone here, and you need your AND. This redstone is like the connection to the two inputs. It goes into this block, and your output of your AND gate is right here. And this torch will override this one, or the wire which connects to this one. So it'll override both at the same time, which makes an XOR gate. So one input is on, I have an output. Both on, turns off my output. And if the other one is on, my output is on again. This is very good, except it's a little bit tall. If you want something even less tall than this, I have another design. This design, I've seen it built a lot by Benny's Cube, great YouTuber. He's awesome with this kind of redstone stuff. So you have your two inputs right here in these repeaters, and I believe you connect them together with the redstone. So you would have your OR right here, and for the AND part, I believe you put this here. I'm not 100% sure. I might have to double check. Okay, no, I'm not correct. You put them right here. Yeah, that's it. Right on these blocks, so your inputs are actually right here instead. And then you get, well, your AND right here. You have to make it go into a torch so that this is your AND gate. And you don't have an inversion yet for your first inputs, so right now you can't override this. You would need an inversion to override it. So you just do the inversion to override it. You just make one. And this, I'm not sure if you're supposed to just connect it up to it. I'll give it a shot. I might remember. No, that can't be right. But it's something along those lines. I think it might be right here. Oh yes, it's right here. This is your output basically, and this would be overriding. This is an XOR, but as you guys see, the output is on even though both inputs are off. So what is this? It acts exactly like an XOR. If I have one input, then it's off. Both inputs, it's on. The other one, it's off. Both, it's on. So this is an XNOR gate. And the reason I put the letter N before the OR is because the N represents the inverted version of it. If I want to get back my XOR gate, I just put a torch here to invert the output, and now I'm back with an XOR gate. Just trying to bring up the wires so that you guys can see when I flip the switches. So this wire right here is my output. One is on, both are on, one is on, both are off. This, I believe, is a two tick. It's a 3 tick XOR gate. If you just want the XNOR part, then you have a 2 tick for the whole thing. If you do want it a little bit smaller, I believe you can probably manage somehow to move this torch over here. You can do something like that if you want, but this is basically your AND gate right now, and it's a little bit high for, well, it's less higher than this one, but either way, it's a very good design. The only thing I don't like about it is that I'm used to working with XOR gates, and this one is an XNOR gate, so I always have to invert it, and if I do invert it, it's 1 tick slower than this one. This one is 2 ticks, and it's an XOR gate. So that's design number 2. Very good. I like it a lot, though. It's useful if ever you want to get an XNOR and make it very small. Third design that I'm going to show you guys is a very old design. I'm not sure who came up with this, but whoever came up with this was very good at making things compact. So your 2 inputs right here, you invert them, and this redstone is your AND gate, and this torch is your output. And then you put your 2 other torches and you connect them. So this is your first inverted, second inversion. First inversion, second inversion, you know, inverted. And this torch overrides at the same time, and this is just your output. So right now this is your complete XOR gate, already done. 1 input on and the other one on. I'll turn off this one and both off, I mean. So this is another XOR gate, very good. I like it a lot. It's very small. The only thing I don't like is that it's 3 blocks in largeness, and it's a bit large for computers. Because if you make one right here and you would make another one right here, well, your output would end up here, and then you have a 3 block gap in between. Rather than if you have this one or this one is actually tileable. You can put an identical one just like this, and you can start building it right here, and the wires won't interfere or anything. And this one, if you start building it right here, well, your output will end up right over here on this block, and there's only 1 gap in between, and you always need 1 gap in between. So this is very compact for busing later. If you guys don't know what busing is, it's just making a bunch of wires next to each other. That's what busing is. So third design, very good. Not as compact for computers as these ones, but very compact for your regular Minecraft usefulness stuff, for like a door or whatever you would like it to use it for. Okay, I guess this covers enough for now. This is enough knowledge so that you guys can understand where I'm going to make an adder, which will do additions. I'll explain to you guys how the addition will work right now, but you guys should learn binary first. I'll explain it very quickly, but I won't explain it in all the details that I could do it in. So, what is binary? Binary is just a way of writing your numbers. And it's the best way to write numbers for us electronic circuits. I'll just make a little wall over here. So let's say binary works in columns, I guess, and this column will be worth 1, and that's about it. This column is worth 1. This one right here will be worth double of the previous. That's how it works. So I just want to lower it here. So it'll be worth 2. Save. This one will be worth the double of 2. So it'll be worth 4. And you guys will see why I'm skipping a 3. And this one will be worth 8. And you guys will see why I don't have 5, 6, and 7 in just a moment. This one is 16. So you guys will also see why I don't have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. If you're smart, you can already tell how I'm going to get 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So right now, if I want to write 0, basically binary, if you want to write any number, you only have to use the number 0 and the number 1. And you write them in this order, representing these values, and you add them together to like get your decimal number. So 1 in binary would be 1, 0, 0, and then 0 and another 0. And you could keep putting zeros as many as you'd like, but there's no point, because every time there's a 0, it just tells us that these values are not in the number that we're trying to read. So right now we have the value 1, so we read 1. We don't read 2, so it's still 1. We don't read 4, so it's still 1. We don't read 8, so it's still 1. And we don't need 16, so it's still 1. So the number is 1. If you want 2, well, you just use the 2. You don't need 1. You don't need 4. You don't need 8, and you don't need 16. So right now, what is the number? We don't have 1, so it doesn't have 1. We have 2, so right now the number is 2. We don't have 4, we don't have 8, we don't have 16, and there's nothing left, so the number is 2. Number 3, how do we get that? Well, good thing we add numbers together to see what we have. So to get 3, you do 1 and 2, not 4, not 8, and not 16. So then we read it. What's this number? This number has 1 and it has 2. So right now it has 3. It doesn't have 4, doesn't have 8, doesn't have 16. So the number right here is 3. Now, to get 4, you would just turn on this. But if I want to get a 6, how do I get a 6? Well, if you don't know how to make a 6, or how to make 4,205, you check what's the biggest number that you can subtract from 6 that is a binary value. Right now, you can't take away 8 from 6 and get a positive answer. You need to get a positive answer. But you can take away 4 from 6 and still have something left, but what you'll have left, you can keep subtracting values in order to write your number. So right now, in 6, I have a 4, so I know that to represent 6 binary, I have to turn on 4. Then I have 6 minus 4, which gives me 2. And good thing I have a 2 right here. So I just turn on 2. 2 minus 2, 0. So right now, I wrote my whole number. I don't need the 1, I don't need the 8, and I don't need the 16. So this is 6 in binary. It's 2 plus 4. if I want to write, let's say 11 in binary. So I can't take away 16, but I can take away 8. So 11 minus 8, I have 3 left. So I can't take away 4, but I can take away 2. And I can also take away 1. And right now, we know that this is 3 in binary. And 3, well, 1 plus 2 plus 8 is, in fact, 11. So I'm just going to write this down. This is 11. This is 6. This is a 3. This is a 2. I don't know why I just didn't press the enter button. And this is a 1. So this is basically binary. I'm not going to go more in details because there's more stuff to learn about this type of way to write your numbers. But this is basically how it would work, how a computer would read numbers, because every time there's a redstone block, it means that there is power going through. And if every time I put stone slabs, I represent that there's no power going through. So it's just a bunch of combinations of on and offs that mean numbers for circuitry to understand and do additions, or else you would have a wire that represents 1, a wire that represents 2, a wire that represents 3, a wire that represents 4, a wire that represents 5, and all the way to, well, a calculator that goes up to 9 digits. So I think it's 9,999,999. And doing that amount of wires in a computer or in a calculator or just in Minecraft, just for fun, that's way too much. It's a waste of time, and it's gonna be slow as fuck. So anyways, I'm gonna show you guys how an adder would work. I'm gonna show you guys the slowest form, and then I'll stop the stream right here, and I'll continue streaming about this in another video. So the best way to, I guess, show you guys how an adder would work is if I start with the outputs. So let's say I have a wire this is my output, and I have another output, and I have another one and another one. Let's say this is my wire that represents 1, this is a wire that represents the value 2, and this represents 4, and this represents 8. In binary, always going to be in binary. So those are my outputs. My inputs are going to be here. Let's say I do the one that is very tall. I'll do an XOR, because if I want to enter a number 1, I could just enter a number 1 like that, right? If I want to do 1 plus 1, well, the answer would be 2. So I can't have this on. And if I can't have this on when I have 2 inputs that are on, this is an XOR. If I have one of the inputs on, I would like to have my output that represents number 1 to be on, because I have a 1 going through. But if I have both on, I'm doing 1 plus 1, which is no longer 1, so I want to turn it off. It's actually 2. So I'm going to use an XOR for that thing to work. So I'll put it very close. I'll actually raise my wires as I do this, but it doesn't matter. So I'll just put the output over here, I guess. and this would work like that. And I'll remove this guy because it's too close. This will be just fine. Yeah, it'll be just... No, it won't. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let me just remove all this. I'll leave these ones so that you guys can see. This will take a moment. Okay. My AND gate right here. Redstone. Redstone. Next inverter. Redstone. Block. And that's it. So this is my input. I'm gonna call it A. I call it A because I'm input 1, input 2 when they're both worth 1. So this is my input A and this is my input B. And since we're doing addition, I'm gonna say that it's always gonna do A. And I want to check out my symbols. Where is the plus sign? There it is. It's gonna always do A plus B or B plus A. Doesn't matter when you do an addition. And I'm gonna just say that one of them is A, one of them is B. Sorry, doesn't matter which one. So if I turn on this one, then I'm adding 1, so in 1 comes out. If I do 1 plus 1, well, it's no longer 1, so nothing comes out. But technically this should turn on because now I have a number 2. But how do I turn on this wire? What says in my XOR that I have a number 2? Well, it's the part of my AND gate that says it. Because if both inputs are on, then my AND gate will turn on. And it'll turn on to say that I have a number 2. So I can... Well, this is my AND gate right here. This torch is the same as this one. It's just not in the same spot. And I'll just connect it to this wire. So right now, this is 2 in binary. So I'm doing right now 1 plus 1. So right now I'm doing 0 plus 0, so I have nothing. If I do 1 plus 0, I have 1. If I do 1 plus 1, I have 2. This is great because the 2 can't stay there, it has to move to the next one. Now I want to do the same thing but for the number 2. And like I said, this XOR gate is tileable. Is that the word? I think it's the word. So I'll put one right next to this guy. Identical right there. Basically, what I just showed you guys is a half adder. That first piece that was already built before what I'm building right now is a half adder. A half adder, basically, when it created the number 2 and it was sent to the number 2 line, that was a carry out. So it carried out the value 2 because it was too much in the value 1. It wasn't 1, so it had to carry it out to the next value that was higher, which is 2. And this is completed. Almost. This is good. This is very good. And this is my AND. There we go. Bam, bam. And turn this off. Okay. So if I want to do 2 plus 2, I can do 2 plus 2. Now I have, I guess, my carry out over here. And I can just carry it out to 4 because 2 plus 2 is 4. Just like 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 1 plus 2 is still 3. Now, here is why it's called an half adder. Because if I have a carry out from this one, 2, well, 1 plus 1, 2. So this should turn on. But how is it going to turn on if this only has 2 inputs and the 2 inputs are taken by these levers? Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to take one away and make it an area to actually put the carry out of this guy in. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take the carry out of this one and put it in one of the inputs of this half adder that represents the value 2. And the way I do this for this shit, I have to remember, is like that. Bam! So if both my inputs are off, so I just moved a part of my AND gate over here to the input, which is great. So right now, this is 1 plus 1. This gives me the 2. And if I want to add 2, this gives me a 4. So great. I took the carry out and I carried it in into the half adder that represents 2. But now I only have 1 input in my half adder for the number 2, and I don't want 1 input. I still want to have 2 inputs, but I still need the carry in to be there. So I can add my second input by adding another XOR to this input right here. So I'll just do it. I can't put a block here. I'll put it on top. You guys will know why later I can't put a block there. And then this will just go like this along these lines. So right now I'm remaking my XOR gate. I'm just making it in front, or well, in the back of it, and doing again the end part. Bam, 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 and bada boom. Now I have input A, input B. Now we got another problem, but you guys will probably figure it out later. So right now this is 2. If I want to add 2, I get a 4. If I want to add this 2, I get a 4 also, because either of this lever will send a 2 value into this other half adder. So this is 1/2, this is 1/2. So right now we have a full adder. Well, we don't have a full adder yet, but it's very close, and you guys will see why it's not yet. Like, it's not done yet. In just a moment. I need to think about this. Okay. Yeah. Now, 1 plus 1, which makes 2, which is good. Now, 1 plus 1 plus 2 makes 4. Good. Let's say I have another 2 going in. Uh-oh. 4 plus 2 would be 6, and right now I have 2 and I'm missing a 4. Where is this 4 coming from? Well, this 2, where is this 2 coming from? Is it coming from this first half adder? Let's check it out. Well, the first half adder is not emitting any signal. So it's not coming from the first half adder, it's still coming from the half adder from the value 1 plus 1. So this half adder right now is doing 2 plus 2, and it's sending a 4, but my 4 is just not connected. And the 4 is right here. So you just connect it. Because this is another carry out. It's the same value. It's just the carry out of this one and the carry out of this one. This one, its carry out is the first half adder and the answer of this half adder. And this carry out is these two inputs right here. It's not the same carry out, but it's the same value. It's not the same because it's not the same inputs. So right now I have 6 because I put my carry out into the value 4. Now just to check that everything is good, you can turn everything off. So we're gonna do, whoa, looks like I got an issue. I gotta figure it out. Oh, it's this torch right here. I guess a repeater won't hurt. Maybe. Or actually, just gonna start this right off the bat. If you guys don't see what I'm already trying to do, I'm continuing. So we're removing this. We're just gonna do a carry in just like this guy. So we're gonna take this wire, move it up here, and put that torch right here. Cut the wire off. Remove this. And this one is 4. Do the second inversion. So this doesn't need to be there. This seems good. My carry in, my carry out, my other carry out. Okay. Right now we're doing 0 plus 0. Let's do 1 plus 0. It is 1. Let's do 1 plus 1. It is 2. Let's do 1 plus 2. It is 3. Let's do 1 plus this 2. It is 3. Now let's do the other one plus this 2. It's 3. And let's do the other one plus this 2. It's 3. So we can do all these combinations and it'll work. Now let's do 1 plus 1 plus 2. 4. Good. Plus this 2. 4. Good. Now 2 plus 2. 4. Good. Now 2 plus 2 plus 1. 5. 2 plus 2 plus another one. 5. Now let's do 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is 6. Basically, you don't need to do 2 plus 2 plus 1 because right now, let's say this is A, and this is also an A input. Well, this is 2, and this is 1. So this number is 3. And down here on my B inputs, I also have 2 and 1. So it's also 3. So right now what it's doing is 3 plus 3. And it's doing the answer in binary, and this is 4, 2, which is correct. It's 6. If I want to do 5 plus 1, well, I would need a 4 for that. But, you know, right now, if you want to get you want to do 3, this is 3. This is 2. and this is 1, so this is 3. Then I do plus 1, that's why I get a 4. It's all good, it's all correct, everything is fine. Right now, this is pretty big adder, but we can do even more, because this is like 1, this is 2, and this is a carry out 4. We're not even at 8 yet, so we can only count all the way to, well, 3. But we can get an answer all the way to 6. You can always get as your answer, I guess, all your inputs and the carry out. Your biggest answer will always be all your inputs on. And in our situation it's 6. Because it's true, it's 3 plus 3 basically. Sorry, I was just looking at this and thinking how awful it was. Well, it's not awful, it's a type of adder that's not very useful. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the number 4, but the number 4, now we got to think. What are we going to do? For number 4, there's going to be the carry out of the 4, of like the 2 plus 2, which can do a 4, and it's going to also need 2 inputs for its own 1 representing 4, 1 representing 4. So we need 3 inputs. We need the carry in, and it's also going to have I'm just going to move this carry out, and I'm going to put it closer to this wire. And the way I'm going to do that to keep it tileable is putting a repeater here, a block, another block. Can't put redstone on that. Okay, no. You put your block here. No. I'm so not sure. I guess I'll figure it out later. Because this is your and like output, technically, almost. Well, I guess you can't put the redstone there. Oh, you can put it here though, and then you can put the torch there. Aha. Okay, this is my and his output. It's identical to that little torch here. I just moved it here to connect it closer to the carryout. So now I'm gonna copy this full adder, not the half adder, the full adder, right here, because we need a carry in and we need the 2 inputs. So I'm just gonna start and do that right away. So the first inversion block like this. Number 1. The reason why I go over this torch is that I want this wire to turn on if ever the torch is on, just like it is over there, because they'll be interfering and I don't want that. Reason why I put a repeater, so that the redstone doesn't cross if ever I would have put redstone there. So right now I'm doing my AND gate right here. Oh, well, I needed that torch there anyways. So my first XOR is built. Second XOR, already got my first part over here. Just need, I guess, a torch there, a torch over here, another one right here, this, a block over this redstone, another block here, go around, put the torch right there. Next XOR, and now for the carry out of this one, we're gonna put it here, redstone, torch, and the carry out of this AND gate, like this, torch, redstone, the repeater that goes like this, and the torch, and then it would be right here, but you want to cut it off, and you can already start building a little bit of your next adder. I guess we can leave this like that, doesn't matter. So now we have the number 4 available to us. So if I want to do 5 plus 1, just like I mentioned before, so I'm going to keep a 1 on, and I need a 4. So right now we're doing 5 plus 0, which is 5. If I want to do plus 1, it's going to do 6. If I want to do plus 2, this is 7 in binary. If I add 1, it'll carry out to the 8. But it didn't do that because I was already doing... I didn't turn on the right one. There we go. I turned it off. I turned off 1. I did I did 4 plus 2, which was 6. This is 8, but this is 8 by doing 5 plus 3. Of course, there are different ways of doing 8. But this is one way. You know, you can do 4 plus 4. You can do 2 plus 6. But yeah, just to show you guys, I guess I'll do 4 plus 4 just to show you guys how it works. So this is 4. This is another 4. Remove the 1. Remove the 1. 8. You can do 8 plus 2, which is 10. This is 8, 4, we don't need a 4, 2, so 10, and then we don't need a 1, so it's still 10. I can do 12, 8 plus 4, I can do 13, 8, well, 13, this is 1, this is 8, no, this is 4, this is 2, which is 6. This is 7 with this one here. So we're doing 7 plus 4, which is 11. And this is 2. So, well, we're doing 7 plus 6, basically. We want to do 7 plus 7. That's 14. 8 plus 4 plus 2. And right now, this is the biggest answer we can get, 7 plus 7. So yeah, you could go on as long as you'd like with this. It will never fail. It will always be correct. But the only way you can get it to fail is if your carry in and carry out are not connected together. Like, we don't need one for the first bit. A bit is an information. Like, this is bit, a bit that represents 1. This is a bit that represents 2, 4, and 8. So this is a 4-bit answer, but this is it's a 3-bit adder right now, because it can add 3 bits of information. But yeah, for the first bit, we don't need a carry in, but it does create a carry out, if ever, but we don't need a carry in, so we don't need that whole full adder thing. We don't need to make a carry in input. We just need half of it, and we need to get its carry out to connect it to the carry in of this next full adder and this next full one. So when you make an adder, the first bit, you never need a full one. just need a half one, but you do need to be sure that the carry out of the half goes into the carry in of the full. And after that you make full adders all the way to the end. And the last full adder, which will be your last bit, its carry out. You don't need well, you don't need, if you want to not have a carry out, well, it's always gonna, there's always going to be a carry out, so I guess your carry out is your last bit. If you would add another, if you add a half adder here, there's no goal, because the half adder makes a carry out, but it doesn't have a carry in. So I'm gonna stop streaming right here, because it's been a while, and well, I don't want to bore you guys, but this type of adder is called a ripple carry adder, because the carry is calculated and then goes here and keeps going as you calculate your stuff. So that you guys can understand more what I mean by the carry has to be calculated, is that, let's say I have 7, right? 7, all this is on, and then I want to do +1. I'm gonna get a carry out of 8. But what it's gonna do, it's gonna calculate 1 + 1. Then it's gonna be like, oh, 1 + 1 is 2, so the 2 goes here. Once the 2 arrives, it'll do 2 plus the carry in of the 2. So it'll do 2 + 2, which is 4. And then this guy, he already has a 4, and he's gonna get the carry out of the value 2 adder, and he's gonna get his carry out, which will be a 4. He's gonna carry it in, and he's gonna do afterwards 4 + 4, and afterwards he's gonna be like, oh, that's 8, and he sends it out here. So you need to, like, this carry out that is worth 8 has to wait for the 1 + 1 to like happen, and then has to wait for the 2 + 2, and has to wait for the 3, like the 4 + 4. It's not instant, like if you would do 4 + 4 just by doing 4, you know, like 4 + 4. It's not instant like that. It has to wait for the carry to arrive until the answer is true. So to show you guys might not see it because it is only a 3-bit adder, but imagine if you would have a 32-bit adder, how slow the carry would go through all the way to the end until you have your correct answer. So I'll just flip 1 and you'll see how it'll move to 8, a bit slow. See, like, it moved here, then it moved there, and then there. You really could see it. Took a while because it has to calculate this answer, and as it's calculating this one, it's calculating the carry at the same time. And by the time the carry is calculated, well, this one already made its first calculation. Basically what it's doing, this one is doing 2 + 0, but then it gets a 2, so then it has to redo again 2 + 2. It has to wait. You always need to wait for the carry to appear if ever there is going to be a carry. This is why it's called a ripple carry, because the carry goes through. I mean, this is not a big deal. I mean, it's a bit slow, but it's not a big deal. If you guys want me to really compare this, the best way to do that would be to see how long it takes for the carry to get there. So you compare it, I don't know, just hook up a piston, I guess, and you, okay, this will stop here, that's fine. Let me get a piston, Here we go. Piston. Thank you, sir. Oh god, that scared me. And then you just connect it to the input. And you see how long it takes from your input, from when you turned it on, until you get this one to pop up. And I should have connected it. So I'll add a few delays to see how long it takes. Let's say 4 ticks. Nope. It didn't take 4 ticks. Let's say 8. There you go. So for the carry out and the carry in to happen properly and until we get our good answer, it took 8 ticks. 8 ticks, if you guys don't know what a tick is 0.1 seconds. So 8 ticks is 0.8 seconds. And this was 3 bits. Let's say I have a 30-bit adder. I would do this times 10. So it would take me 8 seconds. Let's say I had like all of my bits down here on, and then I would do +1. It would take me 8 seconds until I would have my correct answer, because it would take 8 seconds for all the carries to be calculated and carried off into the next bit to be added and doing a next carry out and etc, etc. So it's good, it works, it's a good adder, but it's a slow adder. And in real life, they're not slow like this. In real life, electricity is instant almost, so you don't really see that it's slow. But in Minecraft, you can actually see that it's true that it is slow. And I'll show you guys a solution, but not in this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be here tomorrow since I have a day off. I will be back in this world, and I'll show you guys what a carry look ahead adder is and how it works. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.